your boy Ant, and I'm back with another video. Now, my voice sounds like this because I literally just woke up. I was supposed to wake up a few hours ago, but my alarm never went off. So, usual routine. So, yeah, I'm a little bit behind schedule. So, what are we doing today? Today, we are doing something that I should have done a long ass time ago. Now, I highly suggest to anybody, I don't care who you are, when it comes to the safety of your car, please, whatever you do, do not procrastinate. And I've been waiting to do this myself because I spent a good amount of money on all these parts, a good amount of money, and I just didn't feel like taking it to somebody else and then pay them more money to put them on my car. So I wanted to do it myself because I know how to do it. I've done it, or I've kind of done it before. But what we're about to do, I'm going to show you what I'm about to do. But they've been sitting here for at least a few months, I know. But the weather's been shitty. It's been snowing. It's been freezing cold. Like, even the days where it wasn't snowing, it was too cold to be outside to do this. But anybody that remembers last weekend, I think it was last Friday, it was like 65 degrees. That was like the perfect weather to do this. But it was fucking raining. Yesterday I was out of town. And it was like 50 degrees. It was gorgeous out. Bright, sunny, 50 degrees. It felt like it was springtime, like winter was over. So I was like, fuck. So what I did was I checked the weather on my phone because I was in DC. And I checked the weather for what the weather was up here because it's obviously going to be colder up here. And it was like low 40s. I'm like, what the hell? It's low 40s up there, but like 50, 52 degrees down here. I was like, see, the day that I go out of town, the weather happens to be gorgeous enough to do this, but then it's always shitty weather upstate. And I was like, I am praying that tomorrow's weather, today is Saturday, that it is as nice as it is today down here so that I could do this to my car. Because my car is making a noise right now. I'm going to try to show you so that you guys can hear it. It'll make you cringe. So I highly advise not waiting too late to do this to your car to the point where it makes this noise, because that is very bad and it's not even funny at all. Like, I feel like a complete jackass because something bad could have really went wrong and I possibly could have gotten injured or killed, or injured or killed somebody else. So I feel like a complete dumbass for procrastinating. Yeah, I wanted to do it to myself, and I didn't want to do it just to make a YouTube video. That wasn't it at all, because that would be selfish if I said some shit like that. Putting other safety and mine before a YouTube video. Please don't do that, or don't have that type of mindset. But I wanted to do it myself, and I didn't know how much it was going to cost to have somebody else do it. So I was trying to save some money, and it'd be like a learning experience for me because I've done this before to other cars, just not my car. And every car is different. So I checked the weather, what it was going to be like up today. It said it was going to be like in high 40s. I'm like, okay, that should be good enough. Now I went outside. It's kind of foggy out. It's not bright and sunny. But it is warm enough where I don't mind sitting on the ground or working on my car outside where I'm not going to freeze my ass off. Now, what I'm going to do is, though, I'm going to my grandparents' house to do this because they have a larger driveway and they have a garage that I can utilize whatever stuff that they may have because I have parts to do this, but if there's something that I don't have, they'll most likely have it. So I'm going to go to my grandparents' house to do this, which is like a 10-minute drive away. So convenient for me. And the reason I'm going over there is because their driveway is completely plowed out. I never plowed my driveway out, so it's still iced and snowed over a little bit because the snow and ice up here didn't completely melt. So yeah, I'm going to go over there to their house and work on my car today. Now, enough talking. You're probably like, okay, mofo, what the hell are you talking about? What are you working with today? What are you doing to your car? I'm going to show you. It's 10 light type heavy boxes. No, a lot of packages. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys what we're working with today. That is what we're doing today. And this. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have been procrastinating putting brake pads and new rotors on my fucking car. And the way that I drive, I needed them badly. Now, the only thing that is brand new as far as my brake system, the front brake pads are newer. I got them replaced in July, I believe. So those are the only things that are able to stop my car right now. I know, I'm a big fucking idiot for it. Now, a suggestion that I have for anybody, now brake pads are highly important. Like if you don't have brake pads or good brake pads, your car's not gonna stop and you're gonna die. Pretty simple. As far as rotors though, this is just my suggestion. Whenever you get a new car, if you have the money for it, I would just go ahead and, even if you don't necessarily need to, just to be safe, because honestly, you don't know when you buy a car, whether, especially an older one, because my car is a 2007, so it's 11 years old now. You don't know how long those brake pads and rotors were on that car. Like, I'm 99% sure the rotors that are on my car right now are the original stock ones, like that were put on the car when it was manufactured 11 years ago. So I would highly suggest just swapping them all out with some good aftermarket ones, just to be on the safe side. And I noticed that my rotors really needed replaced because I noticed this when the fall started. Whenever I brake, especially on the highway, when you brake harder, my steering wheel shakes. And at first I needed an alignment, but I had an alignment done when I got my inspection done last June, or this past June, so it wasn't that. Then I had a guy at my job, he was like, what about your brake pads and rotors? I was like, well, now when I got my inspection done, I should have got new rear brake pads since fucking June. Yes, like I said, I'm a big idiot. When I got my inspection done in June, they were like, it's not gonna make you fail inspection, but your rear brake pads are gonna need replaced soon. I was like, okay. Yeah, it's been, what, around 8 months? Yeah, almost a year. I'm really retarded for that one. I just bullshitted. I'm not even gonna make any other excuse. I bullshitted. But anyway, the rotors. I had a guy at my job ask me, he was like, well, what about your brake pads and rotors? And I told him, like, the front brake pads are pretty much new. The rear brake pads, they're gonna need replaced soon. But my rotors, never checked my rotors, and I've had my car for a little over 2 years now. He was like, why don't you check your rotors just in case it could be that? Because I get a lot of people that say, oh, how you have a car-related YouTube channel but don't know a lot of shit about cars? Listen, I never had nobody to teach me these things. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Now I'm about to expose myself a little bit. I don't know how to drive stick. Yes, I know. How the fuck are you a car enthusiast with a channel and don't know how to drive stick? Listen, there are reasons why. So, leave me alone, alright? My boy Vic. I think he's gonna be the one to help me out with that one. Go follow his channel, by the way. And I don't know how to do anything big mechanical to a car. Like as far as anything exhaust wise, as far as like replacing big things in an engine like a starter or alternator, I don't know how to do those things. The reason is I've never had a car that had those types of problems, so obviously I never had the opportunity to learn how to replace them, if that makes sense. So how can you kind of learn something if you've never had to? Now obviously I want to, but I just never had or came across a situation where a car that I've owned needed that replaced. So that's why I don't know how to do a lot of mechanical shit to a car. Now brake pads, rotors, and that type of shit, I can nail that. I've done that on my previous car twice, and I've done brake pads on my car once, and then we're gonna do this today. Usually the shit that I know how to do, I've learned by watching YouTube videos. I know exactly how to change my brake pads and rotors on my car because I looked up a couple videos. And I can watch them and memorize it, get the idea. I'm like, okay, that's pretty fucking simple. And it's actually easy as hell to do this. Now I was watching the video though, the rear brake pads and rotors are a little bit trickier to take off and replace, but it's still the same idea. Everything's like built or set up a little differently in the rear, so it makes it a little bit more trickier to like reach certain bolts, but it's not rocket science. Anybody can do it. So yeah, anyway, I checked my rotors as my guy at my job suggested that, and one thing that I do know about rotors, they need replaced when, I'm gonna use one of the new ones as an example. Now, these are actually nice rotors. I did a lot of research because when it comes to like brake work or brake parts or like suspension, I don't like to cheap out, or tires. I have 2 tires over here. That's gonna be another video coming soon, like going over how much I pay for tires and shit like that, because my tire is in dire need of new tires. Oh my goodness. Well, I told you guys that when I showed you the damage to my bumper. Yeah, I know I was supposed to order the tires back then, but the tires that I wanted to get were out of stock, so I had to wait, and they only had 2 in stock, so now I gotta wait for a couple more to come in stock so I can buy them, because these were highly suggested to me. Anyway, anybody that knows anything about cars knows this part of the rotor where the brake pads press on to, you know, slow your car down. As soon as there's like an indentation, it's supposed to be slightly raised. But as soon as it's not, or it's like kind of grooved in, that means that they're worn down enough where you need to get them replaced. Anytime that this part of the rotor has a ripple, or when you like rub your finger on it and it feels like wavy or bumpy, that is a big no-no, and you really need to get them replaced, because what can happen is it can affect how your brake pads wear down, and it can cause the vibration in your steering wheel. Like I just told you guys that my steering wheel has been vibrating, and it's just not safe because it'll affect your stopping power also. And I checked all my rotors. Every last one of them damn things are rippled. Now I know I've been talking way too fucking much. You're like, okay, bro, shut up. Let's get to the car. So now I'm gonna show you guys when we get to my grandparents. I'm not going to show you the whole process. I'm just going to show you the general ideas. Like, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do like a time lapse maybe, and then I'm going to stop the video and explain what I've done, like the progress, and then, you know, time lapse. I'm not going to do like a whole DIY video. I'm not Chris Fix, so if that's what you're looking for here, you're not going to get that. I just wanted to show you what I'm doing in my car, because like I told you, I like to update you guys on what I do to my car. Plus, I'm sure people have seen plenty of videos on YouTube, people doing brake pads or rotors on their car, so I'm not trying to be like everybody else, and plus that'll probably put y'all to fucking sleep. So anyway, enough talking. Gonna go get the car loaded up, car warmed up a little bit, and head right to my grandparents. Alright, got the car loaded up. Got some of the tools that I'm gonna need. Wrenches, little tool to compress my pistons, X-bar, my socket wrench set, the whole 9 yards. Now, are you guys ready to hear what the fuck this car sounds like? No, not that. That's just my car starting. This is gonna make you cringe. Alright, so I'm driving right now. I got the window down, and I'm about to come up to this stop sign down my street and just try to listen. Can y'all hear that shit? That shit is terrible. I'm gonna try to slow down again, see if you guys can hear it again. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm pretty sure that is now my brake pads with 0 padding now, grinding on my fucking rotors. So like I said, I highly suggest don't be a jackass like me and wait till the last minute, especially when it comes to the safety of your car, because you could kill or injure yourself or somebody else, and it's really not fucking worth it. So please don't do this. So always be on top of like how worn down your rotors or brake pads are, because if I would have waited, let's just say I waited a week longer, my pistons could have locked up, and at that point, your car is kind of fucked. So yeah, please, whatever you do, don't wait till the last minute if you need something replaced. Even with tires, I really need to get these tires in. I'm just waiting for for more to come in stock, because it's really not, I don't know how bad it would be, but I've heard from a couple people that it's not wise to put different, even if you put all seasons, if every tire is all season in your car, it's really not wise to put different types of brands and shit on your car, because every tire has a different tread pattern. So the way somebody told me this, I don't know if they were wrong, they just fed me bullshit, but they said if you put different tires on a car, every tire has a different type of tread pattern, it'll wear down unevenly. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but anyway, we're pulling up to my grandparents. Told you I wasn't that long of a drive. And yes, the driveway is completely plowed, so let's get her done. All right, so we got everything unboxed, and no, I'm not that dumb to put my rotors right on the ground. I have them under some foam and cardboard pieces that were in the box, so hopefully that didn't make y'all cringe. No, not that stupid. Now, one thing is a must. Before you even think of jacking a car up, always put your e-brake on. That way your car doesn't slide back. That's something I always do just for added safety. I like to take a brick or a rock and just jam it behind one of the rear wheels. That way, because when you jack the car up, it's gonna roll back a little bit. So keep that in mind. But I always like to put a rock or a brick there, just prevent it from rolling back too far, if that makes any sense. So 2 tips before jacking a car up: e-brake, rock or a brick behind one of the wheels. You'll be good to go. Now, I'm gonna do the front first, just like because I'm gonna demonstrate on this wheel, and I'm only gonna show you guys on this wheel, and then that'll be it, because it's pretty much the same idea for all 4 wheels. And that video will be hella long. This video is probably already long enough of me talking too fucking much. So I'm only gonna show you what I do to one wheel, and then that'll be it. But I'm gonna lift up the whole front end. I feel like that'll make it easier for me, instead of, doing one wheel by one, cracking up one corner, doing the work, dropping it, then one by one. I'm gonna jack up the whole front. So there's gonna be jack stands on both sides. And then I'll obviously have the floor jack for extra support. That way I ain't gotta go through the hassle of, doing one by one. That way one end will be already up, so that whenever I get done on this one, then I can go onto the other side on the front and then drop down the whole front end, and then both will be done. I feel like that'll, make shit a lot easier, and time will go by a lot faster, because like I said, I woke up a little late, waited a little bit too long to start doing this shit. It's already 2 o'clock, and daylight savings and shit, it's gonna get dark by 4. And this will probably be like around a 2-hour job, depending. I'm not sure. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. But if it does, I gotta hurry up and get done and beat the sunlight. So just like that, we're gonna get right on it. Sorry, I know I keep cutting in, but somebody suggested that I highly do this, because apparently I didn't know this, and I believe they're right. If you guys can see like that bluish hue all over the rotors, somebody told me that I guess manufacturers put some type of oil residue on rotors in their package. I don't know, to prevent corrosion or something, or to prevent rusting, but somebody told me to go ahead and get some brake cleaner, spray it on there, and wipe them off, because you don't want that oil residue on your rotors, which makes sense. So I'm gonna use this stuff to clean the rotors off, and then we're gonna get right onto this car. Always loosen your lug nuts before you jack the car up. Always. You don't have to take them off. Well, you can't take them off, that'd be dangerous, but loosen them up so that when you jack it off, and then, because I've seen people jack up the car first, then try to take the lug nuts off, all that's gonna do is just spin the wheel. You're not gonna be able to break those bolts free because you didn't loosen them, if that makes any type of sense. So always loosen your lug nuts before you jack them off. That way they're a hell of a lot easier to just hand screw off with your fingers. I'm
I'm actually quite concerned with how easy those fucking things are loosened. Like, they weren't even tight at all. This is why I don't like people working on my car, because I would have made sure them stones were extra tight. Yeah, and I know there's gonna be people who say, oh, well, then invest in a fucking torque wrench. Let me do me, all right? All right, got the front end jacked up. That was my grandmother, by the way, if you heard a little old lady's voice. I actually kind of, I was a little concerned for a second because these jack stands are actually tall as hell, so I had to jack the car up even more. And then it started like lean forward, like lean this way kind of. I was like, I don't want to break or bend nothing, but we're good. Nothing to worry about. So like I said, I'm not gonna fucking show you every step one by one. It's not one of them DIY videos. But I'm just gonna explain what I'm gonna do. So there's 2 bolts on this caliper that you gotta take out, and it kind of like it'll fold open. But since we have to replace the rotors, we're gonna take the whole thing off, take the old pads out, then go take the rotor out, place the rotor, place the pads, and then put the bolts and shit back in. That's pretty much it. Now, one suggestion though, whenever you take the caliper off, never let it hang, because you could damage one of these brake lines. So my suggestion is to position it so that it doesn't hang. I know people that use like those towing hooks, like the rubber band ones, like people strap like a bicycle or something to their car, like a bungee cord hook. All right, so quick update. Well, both of my grandparents are home, but I finally got the rotor off. These 2 bolts right here that held the caliper in place were so hard to get off. Like, I should have got like a breaker bar or something, but I forgot to do that. But yeah, I finally got them off, so this is what it looks like. But yeah, these bolts were a pain in the ass to get off. Now, if you guys can see the difference between the new rotors and the old ones, yeah, terrible. You can see how much higher this one is than this. That's how worn down this is. See, but I was talking about how it's engrooved in and all these ripples. Now I want to show you guys something real quick. Whenever you take your caliper off, don't let it hang, like I was saying earlier, so you don't like damage any of these brake lines. That's why I went and got one of these bungee straps and hooked it up to my strut. That way it's not hanging. But yeah, and what I like to do, I don't know where the hell I just put it. Here we go, I found it. What I was saying, what I like to do, and what I've seen people do, and it says just a good tip, take like a good metal brush, kind of like brush off all this excess rust. That way when you like put your new rotor on, it doesn't like seize to, like I said, I'm not an expert, so I don't know what this piece is called, but that way your rotor doesn't seize to this. So I was told it's a good idea just to take a metal brush, kind of brush off some of that excess rust. So now I know I got a big ass mess everywhere, but all there really is to do next, put the new rotor on, then go ahead and put the caliper back over it, and then put the brake pads in, bolt everything up, and then pretty much good to go. Now I'm already on the other side of the front, so I'm gonna show you guys something real quick. I'm not gonna demonstrate the whole process again, but I forgot to touch on a few things. This right here is your piston that you need to compress. I have this little fancy tool that somebody gave me, and there's a metal piece somewhere. There's a metal plate, and basically you use this tool to like squeeze or press this piston flat, because if you don't do that, then you're not going to be able to fit the new brake pads on. But that's pretty much all I really wanted to touch on. So I need to hurry up and get all this shit done, because I still got to do the back too, and as you can see, I'm losing sunlight, so I need to hurry up. All right, 2 down, 2 more to go, and then I'm done. So hopefully time is on my side, which I really don't think it will be. By the way, my grandmother is so sweet. She brought me out some banana bread while I was out here working. This will taste good as fuck. Okay, so I'm finally on the back. Fronts are done now. As you can see, I'm losing sunlight by the minute. But then my grandparents have this light, and I might have to go get like one of those big garage lights, probably out of the shed or something. But I just want to show you guys this real quick. God damn. This would explain the grinding.
Bruh.
Like, that's pretty much no pad. This is what a brand new pad is supposed to look like. Old, new. Please, people, don't ever let your pads look like this. I'm surprised I ain't die in this damn car. Whew. But anyway, I'm gonna get back with y'all when I have this car completely done.
One eternity later.
Listen here. Why the fuck do I still got this on me? Yeah, it got so dark that I had to hook this to my hoodie working out. Like, it's completely black now. Let me tell y'all, I pray to God I never have to do this again. Like, I don't care whatever car I get after this one. I am never doing this again. Like, a dealership or a shop can do this shit, or somebody else if they want to. I don't give a fuck. I'll pay you. Because this shit was so fucking terrible to do. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. I'm not even gonna tell you guys what time it is right now, because you probably laugh at me. But I still know what I'm doing. Everything's done. Got all the brake pads and the rotors replaced. All my lug nuts and all my bolts and shit tightened. Everything's good to go. I'm gonna probably, just to check, make sure everything's okay, go up and down the street a couple times. But I'm gonna just end the video right here because I am highly annoyed. Like, half my body's numb from sitting on this cold ass ground. My nose is running. I'm tired and I'm hungry. My grandparents just ordered some pizza, so about to clean all this bullshit up. Go test run the car, make sure everything's okay, come back, eat, and I'm gonna just call it a night. So just like that, this video is completely over. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I kind of didn't really, but if you stopped in for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like, leave a comment down below. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'll catch y'all on the next one. No, I actually forgot to show you guys this because this is interesting. I've never seen a box of brake pads show this. It's like a whole procedure of like breaking the pads in. That's different. I've never seen that. Yeah, I would highly recommend these. I mean, I haven't broken them in yet, but it gotta be legit if it gives you braking instructions. I've never seen this on a box of brake pads before. So I'm about to go test this out. My phone is almost dead, so I'm gonna cut it right here. But yeah, this shit was fucking, it took forever because the rear rotors were like so rusted. It was fucking hard as hell to get them off. They eventually got off, but, and then the fucking caliper bolts, oh my Jesus. I'm not even gonna get on that. But yeah, I'm about to go break these brake pads in, come back, eat, call it a night, and yeah, like I said, I'll check y'all in the next video. All right, I'm out.